I won't lie to you guys. YM, Dow Jones, Dow 30, whatever you want to call it. I'm loving the chart, guys. I'm really loving the layout of how price is booked on the daily time frame. And although I don't trade this, man, it's looking like I'm gonna have to start trading it now. Because don't get me wrong, there is gaps in the market, but the delivery in comparison to ES and NQ is second to none, guys. Now, there has been a divergence in price action because whilst ES and NQ has created lows, YM has created highs. And this is exactly what I wanted to see play out in ES and NQ. I wanted to see a poach of highs, which in this case is 41.47, before we start to see a sell-off. Now, where the candle body closed is very important, and this is exactly what I wanted to see. So something like a shooting star, bullish or bearish shooting star. Bearish shooting star would be more confirmation. It'll be a stronger confirmation compared to a bullish shooting star, right? Now, it's rare to see YM, ES, and NQ doing different things. I personally like to see them all align into the same bias. So if ES is going long, if I'm long on ES, I'd ideally like to see NQ. Not ideally, I'd want to see NQ and YM go long as well. And what we've seen here with YM is exactly what I expected to see with YM, but not with ES and NQ, with what actually happened. What actually happened is sell stops was taken in NQ. And if you have a look at my previous video, you would see how it happened, especially in the hourly time frame. But having a look at YM, we can see that buy stops obviously has been taken. Macro highs has been swept. The candle body didn't close that much higher than the previous week's. This is daily, sorry, the previous day's candle, which is at 41.307. We actually managed to close that at 41.335. So it's not that many points above the previous high. Now, going into the future, the consequent encroachment of this bullish shooting star will be my point of interest. That and previous buy side liquidity, which is at 41.47. That area there would be my point of interest for any liquidity spikes up into that region, to then run right back down, taking Monday's low out, just like ES, just like NQ, and just like what I expect to pan out with ES if you don't get that run to the upside. Because remember, we never even got down to Friday's lows here. So if we gap there, that might be a signature in price to tell us that it is growing weaker to the downside in comparison to the upside. Because we've been bullish for quite some time, guys. We've been bullish for quite some time. Yes, this is ES, but it's very similar with all the other markets from the 8th of August. You've been on the rip. 8th of August, we've been on the rip. We've been on the rip, guys. So, is this the end of the bull run? That's the question you have to ask yourself. But in order to take one step at a time, you have to piece together what price action has done in the past and track the present moment and what you believe is going to happen in the future, and just track it over time. What we can see is a last down close candle, which would be my point of interest. It does lie at the consequent encroachment of the daily. No, well, I would say consequent encroachment if this was a volume imbalance or fair value gap, but this is actually a order block, so this would be a mean threshold. So the mean threshold of the order block has been met. Friday's candle broke out, created new weekly highs, and then obviously Monday opened, new week. We've got the highs for the week and we've got the lows for the week. Now the question I have to ask myself is, for this week, are we looking to poach highs, or are we going to be looking to poach the lows? If we poach the lows, where could we go? If you poach the lows, then I'm looking at the highest point off the bullish order block, which would be 41.159, the open, which would be 41.015, and then I'll be looking out for the lows at 46.84, and obviously 41.523 is the highest for the week, the current week at the moment. we tend to usually book highs on a Tuesday or Wednesday, so today's price action will be very quintessential to see how the rest of the week plays out. We've also got a volume imbalance located at 47.02, so that'll be a very, very interesting point to reach down into. But yeah, when you compare YM with NQ and ES, you can obviously tell that YM is doing its own thing. Stops to the upside has been taken, which would give me more confirmation that there's a weakening in the bulls. There's a weakening in the delivery to the upside for the bull market, for the bull run, right? Now, I'll be keeping you guys updated to see what has happened. I'm not expecting a closure below this Monday's dealing range, but I'd ideally like to see a draw back down into the order block. And that is what I'll be looking out for going into today's price action. And I'll keep you guys updated later on today, at the end of today, possibly going into Wednesday with what has happened. I'm gonna leave you guys with the daily time frame. Did I ever show you guys the weekly? I don't think I showed you guys the weekly. So this is the weekly time frame. And obviously we've sold off, gapped, bullish hammer. Failed to take sell stops, but we did take local stops there. Push to the upside, swept stops, imbalance. So if we were to go down, there's obviously imbalances in price that we could reach down into. You've got the dealing range low, dealing range high for the past 1, 2, 3, 4, basically 1 month. So if you were to retrace back down into the 41,000 region, that would still be considered as healthy. It's not that big of a movement, you know. I mean, in the grand scheme, compared to a move, for example, where we drop down into the volume imbalance and then we use that as resistance and then we continue to drop down lower. You know, right now we're in a place where even if we were to retrace down into 41,000, still a good area, still a good price, especially when buying or adding to your position to take profits at a short-term high area. So I'm going to leave you guys with the daily time frame and keep you guys updated.